All right, it's 5:15 on February 21st, 2024. We're here for a regularly scheduled Jim County Recreation District Board meeting. President, myself, Joe Decker, board members, Mia Saffron Larson, and Christina Allen, and we have Abra Dodson, our Rec District Director here. First up on the agenda are to approve the minutes from January 17th and February 7th.
I move to approve the minutes from January 17th and February 7th.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Next up, Treasurer State Pool Report. It's on the back of the agenda for the people in the audience. Nothing in red. Everything's in black, no parentheses. Pool donation account, which is completely separate from anything else, stands at $42,079.90. Next up on the agenda, approval to pay monthly bills for January in the amount of $37,858.67.
Move to go ahead and pay the monthly bills for January of 2024 in the amount of $37,858.67.
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Next up on the agenda is public input. Anybody here sign up for public input? All right.
Yes, Barbara.
You weren't public, you were just regular. Did you want to be on public? No. So what? Who are we talking to? Or Paula right now?
So, I don't know the difference, so.
You signed up for the regular, just that you were here for the meeting.
She might be signed up for public.
Okay, what's
So
your,
I've
what's your
done
name?
this before, I'm sorry.
That's quite all
It's a
right.
test, so far you did.
It's fine.
Just saying.
Paula Williams.
Oh,
Thank you.
I see that out loud.
That's your name.
Paula Williams, you have the floor.
Oh, so what, do I say something now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead and let us know.
Okay,
You
Okay.
can
all
come
right.
closer if you want to be on camera too.
I don't want to.
Okay.
There is something that was brought to my attention last week by one of the line dancers as I saw your agenda. I am the line dance teacher, and we started our line dance program about a year ago, and it's grown. It's been really wonderful, and we love all the people that are coming, and I do it because I want to. And when I saw the idea that you might want to charge for this, it kind of rankled me, and I'll just be honest, because I want people to be able to come and just out of the goodness of their heart, we set up a little donation box to help defray the cost of the new building and, to pay for our time here. And people have been really generous and they want to. And I still want it to be a want to, not a have to. Does that make sense when I say that?
Sure,
sure,
Okay,
you bet.
so I'm just it's the principle of the thing for me. I do this, we spend a lot of time preparing, getting ready, setting up, teaching the classes an hour and a half twice a week. And a lot of people are coming. We have probably 30 people on an average coming every week, twice each on Monday and Wednesday. And we do volunteer things for the rec center, the youth appreciation, and whatever other things sometimes they ask us to do. And so I would just like to appeal to you to really, my appeal is let people give out of the goodness of their heart because they want to, not because they have to. Does that make sense? No fee, just, people just want to give. And I don't know what has been given the last 3 weeks or since we started. I don't know. Do you guys know the total? I have no idea. I don't know what you're thinking or what you were when you said a line dance fee, what you were thinking. So I'm just appealing. And it's just, I guess again, it's just the principle of the thing. Because I think that would change the dynamics for me. Because I want to do it for fun. And because I want to, and I want people to come, and I want them to, and I don't want them to feel obligated. But we understand, and we try to take care of the premises, and we want to give freely from our heart. So that's kind of my appeal to you to think about that and to reconsider just letting it be a donation thing and not
What's your capacity?
right now.
Yeah, what
Gosh,
do you
it's so-
foresee as, have
Well,
you reached your capacity?
We've had
or-
to close the class.
Okay.
I mean, that's what's been a little bit challenging. 2 new people just showed up randomly today. We're like, okay. And we started a beginning class we probably have 25 people on the roster, and then we have like 10 new beginning people that just keep inviting their friends, and I've had to say, we love it that you love it so much, but we are limited in our space, and I don't want to, I told them, maybe in the future, later on in this year, we could do another beginning class, but we'll just kind of have to see. People are, you know, when you start upping the ante on some of the dances and the requirements that we do, some of them will fall away. So we'll kind of see, but we've had a pretty good base of 25 people on an average, I would say.
Did we go ahead and stop?
Am I done?
Yes.
No.
Okay, done, sorry.
That's quite all right. You're fabulous. Really appreciate your input, Paula. Thank you
Okay.
for coming. Thank you for your experience and strength and hope for the future of our line dancing and your line dance.
Yeah, this
Parade.
is really fun.
Yeah.
Can I leave now?
Yeah.
No,
Well, thank
we're
you.
staying.
Yes, thank you.
I have to bring, my neighbor has been really sick, and I promised her I'd make her chicken soup, and it's cooking at home. I need to take it over to her, I promised I would, so, okay, thank you.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you.
Sorry, guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye. That's great. Okay, and Barbara.
Nothing, I changed my mind.
All righty.
Well,
Anyone
I
else?
haven't heard the meeting yet.
Okay. That is it. That does it for public input.
Okay, so I'll motion to close public input. Second.
So moved.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public input's closed. Next up is inquiry into rec district land by island from the one and only
I'll get
John
over
Evans.
so I can be seen too.
Yeah,
Okay.
John Evans, 1986 Lower Buck Road. I have been, I have been approached by a couple business people asking about the rec district pool and the grounds you guys own. And what they were looking for, the paperwork that I got from Abra, they were asking about a water test. So you have to monitor it for a year. And that's a problem because it's costly, and that's something I don't think you guys really need to do, but this group came to me asking if they could put 3 holes in there and monitor it for a year. And that's all they're asking, to see even if that ground is usable for future for what you guys want. So his cost, his liability, or I should say, but their cost, their liability and that kind of stuff, what they're looking at. So that's all it is, so that's all I'm asking for.
okay.
So
Yeah, do you guys have any questions for?
So, I guess the only questions I would have is, who is there? Who is it exactly that?
It's a group of 3 different business people that approached, and they don't want their name out there because there's enough scuttlebutt for pool.
Exactly.
And
I'm with you.
they don't want to be in the middle of it, because.
Okay. And who is it that has the liability insurance and all of that would
We
be
can get
setting up?
liability insurance cover for you
Okay.
on it. All it is that they dig it and then they have to monitor it every week.
Yep,
So, but
okay.
then this way, like I said, we didn't see any monitoring and this needs to be done anyhow. And they said at their dime and whatever, if we needed liability, we can get you a copy of that too, so.
Okay, that would be fantastic.
One question, what happens when we like mow and stuff out there?
If the pipe stands up, just don't hit it.
Okay, so we're just gonna let our know our.
Yeah.
Will they
They'll
flag
pro-
them?
What's that?
Will they flag them?
Yeah, it's a white pipe that sticks up.
Pretty
If you look right around, people monitor quite a lot on a lot of land, you'll see pipes out there. They need to do fencing around it, they can do that too, but just don't want any disturbance, so they'll probably put a cap on it and take it off afterwards, so.
So if the board goes with it, would the rec district drop a semi-contractor, would you guys drop kind of a memorandum of understanding where, we have access to the,
All the
reports
reports
and
you
all
guys
of that?
do, well, they're doing it on their dime just so they know if it's even usable, because there's enough out there this way here, then you guys will get all the documentation, so. But we, like I said, they know what they're doing, might as well ask them to do it, so.
so I think you guys either request an MOU if you.
Yeah, and I think we could
Or-
probably have our attorney draw up like a, pretty short little memorandum of understanding or something
Yeah, and we can work
that states that, the parties pay for the testing, we get access to the reports, with some indemnity clause for the
Yeah.
rec district, and then,
Yeah, I don't think it should be too on that one. Look, this is the biggest thing for the land, so once
Yeah.
it's done, if nothing can go there, then you know ahead of time if it's worth anything too.
Exactly.
yeah,
Cool.
I think, yeah, for now, we're in favor. We'll have our attorney get something
Yeah,
drawn up for us to consider, I think, at our next meeting in March.
okay, yeah.
And then we'll,
We-
be in touch.
The timing is a biggie because
That's what I
it's
was gonna-
irrigation
I
time.
was gonna ask, so how soon do you need the,
Yesterday would have been fine, because
Okay.
they wanna do it for an irrigation season, so usually in February, so if we can get it,
maybe we try and get a special meeting put together or something?
that
for
would be
that?
great too, so, cool, thank you.
Okay, you bet, thank you.
Thanks, John.
You betcha.
Okay, next up on the agenda, discussion of marketing services and website services with Sarah Carl.
Hello,
Hello.
Hi.
Sarah calling, 3780 East Black Canyon Highway. I submitted a proposal to build a new website for the rec district. I am here for questions, concerns, thoughts. Where would you like me to start?
Tell us a little bit about your, I guess, your view for the website,
So-
what you're thinking.
Yeah, so my view for the website is really as a communication tool, a centralized communication
Okay.
tool. So right now, the Gem County website is built upon the system that is used for booking sports, correct me if I'm wrong with that, Abra, which is very, very limited in terms of the functionality. And there are just so many things that are going to be happening with the rec center, and I think that are already happening, that can be included on that website. So for example, the pool, everybody's favorite topic, I know. There are probably 100 different conversations go on over the course of any given month about that pool. On a website, we can have a centralized official statement that says, this is what's happened, this is where we're at, this is our opinion. Then anybody can share your statement. You don't have to wait for somebody to come and officially say, this is our perspective. So you start to streamline a lot of those communications. We take a lot of hours time off of that. For someone like Paula, we can have signups. We can have people saying, I want to join the line dancing class, and a big sign that says line dancing on Wednesday at 3 is full. Here's our wait list, so that those classes can stay full. Events calendars, pages for things like the father-daughter dance. So for me, it's less of a marketing or a website issue and much more about the communications. And you know, I tell this story a lot. One of the things that really made me passionate about this for Gem County is I contacted a business last year and asked them when they open. And they said, everybody knows we open the Saturday after the corn harvest. And I kind of went,
Not everybody.
But I think this is something that Gem County especially struggles with because word of mouth used to be a lot stronger than
Yes.
it was. So we're looking at, you know, in marketing communications, there are 3 C's. It is content, clarity, and context. So the content is obviously telling people what we want to tell them. The clarity is telling them it in a way that we can understand. But I think what the rec center struggles with is context. And that is whether you're sharing something over a website or an email or Facebook. And right now, Gem County is so dependent on Facebook. And
It's amazing, yeah.
the numbers are, if you have a Facebook group and you share a post, 10% of the people in that group will see that post. That's it. Whereas if you have a website, people can sign up, they can get your emails, and you send out a once a month email, 95% of those email recipients will get your message. Maybe 50% of them will open it,
Right.
but at least you've given them the opportunity. So really, I want us to try and create a centralized communications platform so that anybody who moves into Gem County and knows nobody can say, what's happening at the rec center this weekend so I can go and attend.
And could you integrate the current, like,
Yes, so my goal for that would
The
be,
registration.
Yeah.
yeah, what we would do is that would be a menu item at the top. You would just link straight into the existing system. And I don't want to touch the existing system right now because everybody who works with you is so used to it. And, you know, we can't change
Everything at once.
everything all at once. So you would really be adding a front end. It would be built on a content management system that is known as WordPress. WordPress powers, I think the last statistic was somewhere in the region of 55% of websites on the internet. So it is one that, you know, if I drop down dead tomorrow, you will be able to find another WordPress expert by throwing a stone. It's very easy for people to learn. So included in that cost was training so that everybody who's affiliated with the Rec Center can learn to manage their own content on the website. And as I was saying to Abra, you can have, like, let's say Paula wanted to manage her own page. she can do that, but every time she changes it, it goes to Abra for approval. So you never have to worry about someone putting something up on the website that is not kosher.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic, okay. That's
Yeah.
great.
We use WordPress. I work for Canyon County, and our entire site's built through WordPress.
Yeah.
I've done WordPress a little several
You
years
see?
ago. It's
So
been
we're
around
rolling
forever.
stones everywhere.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it, is so many people now are familiar with it, they know how to use it. To give you an example, I've just built a website called gemcountylife.com, so you can go and see that. It's very bare bones, because I am building that in my spare time. But my goal for that, again, is to help the communication in Gem County and send out lists of events. So that includes some of the functionality that I would expect to put on the rec center, in terms of like calendars, being able to see what events are happening, things like that.
Perfect.
And so it would just, we'd have the sport page, and if basketball's the thing, when they click register here, it would then just go to the
Right
other
into
one.
their existing registration system, yeah.
Much needed.
Yes, we've been singing that song for a while.
I'm gonna drag the whole of Gem County into the 21st century, kicking and screaming.
Bless you.
I'm taking up Barbara's mantle, apparently.
Exactly. All right. Well, I don't have any more questions.
No, and we got your proposal. I think Abra sent it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic, thank you.
All right.
And
So
so
much.
is there,
Thanks for
I
coming
mean,
in.
you're
That's
right,
great.
you had the base
So-
price and then like the full package.
The way I structured the proposal is kind of a menu. So what I did was I tried to sort of itemize things as much as possible. The reason being is that that price that I gave you, I think, included 5 pages. You might say, hey, we only need 3, but we'd like this feature that you've never even thought of before. So I wanted to kind of give you an idea that as you're moving things in and out of that project, you have a clear idea of, oh, if we add this in, it's gonna cost us this much, and if we take this out, it's gonna save us that. The total price I gave there was what I expect a website like this would normally include.
Okay.
So time frame wise, how long does it take you to, from,
Usually I would say 3 months, from start to finish. It really depends on how quickly we're able to coordinate and align on the vision for the website. So the first step,
information and all?
yeah, the first step is really information gathering, understanding what everybody wants. Then we do what's called a wireframe, which includes no design, but it's pure usability. And the reason I do this first is because my background isn't actually design so much as making websites function for the people who use them. So I do a lot on usability, accessibility, all of those sorts of things. So that's why we sort of do that rough drawing first. Then we pick out, our color schemes, our design. Once those 3 steps are done, everything else tends to kind of fly. But sometimes we can get bogged down in that initial stage a little longer than we might like to. But a good sort of average would be 3 months for a website this size.
Okay.
And I imagine it would have like responsive design, right? So it,
Yeah, I base everything off of a template called Divi, which is one of the most popular ways of designing WordPress. What that means is that I don't actually have to build any of the responsiveness. Someone far cleverer than me has done that. I'm going to sort of basically plug everything that you want into that responsive, accessible, usable design.
and how, do you guys know what responsive design is? So it's like when you pull it up on a computer, how it looks, and when you pull it up on a tablet, how it looks versus your phone. So it basically looks the same,
Same.
Yeah.
no matter
Yeah, so
which,
that everything
how you're
falls
looking
into the
at it.
right place. And one of these things is, if you've got like a contact form, like sign up for email, what used to happen when you load it on mobile is that form gets sent right down to the bottom of the page and no one would ever see it. Responsive design allows us to move the elements around so that they make sense separately on computers and phones and not just some weird kind of Frankenstein middle ground.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you. I think, yeah, we'll, we had it as an action item, but I think we probably warrant some
Probably
further
need to discuss
discussion.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
But we appreciate you. Thank you so much for
Thank
sending
you.
that proposal over.
Thanks,
and
nice to
we'll-
meet you again.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right, next up we got director's report.
For the security proposal, I was hoping to have, kind of the, not not complete bare bones, but a
Thank
little
you.
scaled down, security camera plan, since the quotes we've gotten, I'm assuming we're probably not pulling the trigger on.
Not anytime
Tonight,
soon, but
Right, okay. And so I'm working on getting one that's kind of scaled down that then would be able to be added to, so that way we can get some of it in, and whether, Chris and I kind of talked about, and I think we all, it's not so much we're worried about someone breaking in, it's just making sure there's coverage in the building, and
For
then like the doors.
safety.
Coverage
Yes,
critical
for
areas
safety,
first
cover-
and-
yes, and so that's what I talked to him about, kind of scaling it down to the cameras on the inside, and then the parking lot door, 'cause like, there's always a potential in the parking lot for something, and then, at the front door, kind of cover both of those. And he wasn't able to get it back to me for today, so when I did that,
so it seems like there was 2 companies,
yes.
so you are asking both companies for that
Yes.
information?
Yep, I can get, once I see his, I can, make sure that I'm doing apples to apples. That if one says 12 cameras, then I make sure the other one says 12 cameras. The scale down for one may be different
Yeah.
than scale down for the
You'll have to
other.
define that for them.
Yeah,
Great.
that's where we are with that. But it would be, whatever we do can add to it if and when we need to.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Agenda. So we'll table that action item on the security proposal review until March. Next up is the recreation coordinators report, we got that.
We got it as an email.
Yeah.
I don't think it's here.
Right. This basketball. Looks like the basketball, right?
Yeah.
The teams.
Mostly the update on basketball, where he is with adult volleyball and soccer, and, the most up-to-date, basketball profit and loss. What do you guys thought?
Was that a report that he put together himself?
I helped him with it, just to make sure, because there's been a lot of discussion on how we want that report to.
That's what I was wondering, was he handed a format?
I went through it, and then he'll do it from now on. I just wanted to make sure that it was like, okay, this is what you think about basketball, what are the teams, what are the numbers, and that way he can run with it.
It was a great report, I was just curious if you were handed, if someone was helping you with that or what that looked like.
Yep, he and I worked on that.
Okay, great. So it kinda formatted towards the one that we had given you, it kinda looked a lot the same. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Things are going well with it, and he's.
Yeah, people were excited that, we had comments on Facebook, oh, I'm glad it's you, or I hoped it was you. He's jumping in, having meetings with, soccer coaches, for coaches, for referees, he's meeting with the, vice principal at the high school to try to see how he can, work into his school to get.
You know what I
coaches and
didn't
refs.
see was the flag football. When I was here one day, you guys were having a
Oh.
conversation. What?
That just was yeah, we had a meeting with Optimus Football, we were overlapping with tackle football with 8-year-olds, and so the meeting was what to do with 8-year-olds. The tackle football program, for better or worse, I guess needs them to start at 8, so that way they can keep them in by the time they get to high school. They, I don't know, be state champs again. So so basically the only change is when we get to flag, we will do 6 and 7-year-olds, which is the vast majority of the ones who played anyway.
Have you guys ever, and I only know this from talking to another rec department, engaged with the NFL to give you support for with their program? Because I know they provide.
We've looked into that one, and there's a lot of stipulations. Since Optimist is the one that feeds into us, we use their former flag football rules and kind of, so that way we're able, it's a little freer to be able to run it and tweak how we need to.
Okay, great.
One thing on there I did notice is that, it's a total of 30 volunteers that are helping out with basketball. Tell me, how are you recognizing them?
So the ones who are coaches get a thank you pass for their kids.
What kind of a thank you
It's
pass?
a pass for the next sport that one of their kids plays.
Participation, whatever.
A
sport.
participation pass,
Yeah.
okay.
We are, in fact, Rich and I just spoke about that today. Christina and Rich and I have a standing meeting on Wednesday, and Christina has it. So Rich and I were talking about that today, getting more onto that, the public thank yous. I mean, he thanks coaches when they're there, parents thank them, but getting that and creating, the list of the volunteers, putting it on Facebook, when we have a website, being able to put it on the website, sending things. We can't in the paper for free, put thank you to, if we wanna pay for it, we can. But the paper would let us, I believe, kind of put a picture from basketball and kind of a little caption that says, GCRD had, I don't think it would be specific names, but it would be telling the community how many people that it takes. So definitely.
So what I'm hearing you say is that it would cost for us to put it into the messenger as far as the thank you goes, if we were to say thank you with basketball volunteers and all of their names?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you recall would that be like around the $50-$60 range like the other one? Seems to me.
The other,
pulling from past.
can I check on that?
Of course, yeah.
Okay,
I just think
perfect.
that, it's really important that we recognize our volunteers. 30 volunteers to help that program go is really fantastic. It's
Right.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
and
when
I-
you think about it, when you add it all up.
I'd also like to consider possibly doing some kind of a volunteer dinner for them, for all of our volunteers once a year, so that we could recognize them all together. Something like that, kind of.
And now that we have grass area,
Well, we have the grass area and we have this
Yeah.
area in here, and it's, sometimes well received. And I think in this type of a capacity, it would be, well received, and then possibly we could get them, I don't know, maybe people are volunteering year after year after year. I mean, that's pretty amazing to have people coming back, and we wanna recognize that.
Yeah, I think in the past, when we've talked about it, it's always hard to say, when do you have it? I
It
mean,
doesn't
and that-
matter, we just have it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because, it's like, well, if you do it during basketball and those that are.
Then they don't make
rotating,
it,
right, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with
Yeah.
our dinner that we should be having in December. I'd like to make sure that's in December, our holiday party. I think it's just a matter of getting it on the, of course, we're gonna try and get it around as many people as possible, that can attend, but, you just have to put it on the calendar.
And,
So that's awesome, thanks.
yeah, just going back to flag football, for 8-year-olds, right? They move into tackle football at 8.
correct.
Have you had parents express any interest in still having the flag football for 8-year-olds?
So, this year, there's still gonna be a little bit of room. The 8-year-olds, it's similar to the 6-year-olds in baseball, where a 6-year-old could play T-ball because they've never played before, or they could do machine pitch because they're ready to move up. So the 8-year-old is a kind of a gray area. So Optimus doesn't wanna turn anyone away, but sometimes they will get 8-year-olds and they'll have their registration before hours. They'll have 8-year-olds who are completely tiny, never played anything, and then they will suggest coming to us. So we'll still leave some room for 8, we just won't advertise for 8. Kinda see how this year shakes out for that.
I just know it's like the recent rhetoric around concussions and stuff, that parents probably aren't wanting to start their kids in tackle football as early as 8.
Mhm.
So I don't know if if it would just cause a divide with Optimus, because
Well-
we're, trying, they would think we're trying to steal their players away from them for flag football for another year instead of tackle, but.
I mean, my instinct, I don't know if it's as a mom or what, my instinct would be 8-year-olds still play flag, but. And then if it gets to the point where they're still not getting 8-year-olds and we're getting more 8-year-olds, or we have 7-year-olds saying, parents who are like, oh, my kid's gonna be 8 next year, please let them play flag again. Between Optimist and the rec districts, we can.
Work something out.
evaluate and all that.
Okay, so it's not
Cause
a
yeah,
hard
nobody,
line.
cause nobody wants to traumatize the 8-year-old, so they never wanna play anything again.
Yeah, I think I started Optimus at 8. Oh, if I had a son, I wouldn't let him start at 8. I can buy
Well,
that much.
I think, as like I said, I think that's the mom thing versus the dad.
Didn't you just say you wouldn't?
Oh,
put
yeah,
them?
there's no way. I
Oh,
would.
you wouldn't, I thought you said you would. The more we know.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Next up, surplus item resolution. Do we have that?
I go print it out, I'm like, that's the one thing I forgot.
And is that for the,
Basketball.
Basketball
hoops?
hoops, yep.
Yeah,
So I move that we go ahead
yeah,
and,
surplus them.
surplus them,
Do you
yes.
still want the?
No, that's okay, I don't think you need to do that. We saw it, we had it last, when
I'll
we
second
checked
you
into it.
out, and then you just-
We'll have to get the signature after.
okay, so we have a motion
I'll
and a
second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay,
So if anyone has any ideas,
motion
where
approved.
they might go.
I don't know. It's a very special item.
I know.
Next item on the agenda, rec center facility discussion, renovation update. I think we got some stuff in writing here.
I think it mentions nothing physically has been done since the safety electrical stuff got done. I did get the March 11th, Western Heating Air will start the main room studio, and that'll take about a week, and then it'll take another 3 days to do the foyer.
Okay,
So we'll just shuffle in, now that we have options, whatever classes, we'll just have to deal with being in here for that week. It'll be pretty
and they're
pretty
fine
basic too.
doing all their stuff and just running it up there until the electrical can get worked out, okay, perfect.
And
The HVAC are, that's what you're saying, HVAC is?
HVAC, the electrical is not scheduled, correct?
I do not have a set date for that yet. We're still looking for
So
finalizing
The
parts
perfect
for
panel.
it.
okay.
Oh, and then when they're doing that, it's, if I understand right, it's just the panel on the top connecting to the electrical system, so that's not gonna be invasive.
Yeah.
in the
On the
rooms.
breezeway.
But yes, we're there.
Yes, finally. Anything else on renovation update? That's about it.
Oh, okay, no, go ahead, thanks.
Membership card policy,
We had talked about it the last one, but, and same kind of what we talked about, just with the, you have to be at least 10 to be in here without an adult, over 10 would need a card to be in here. And if it's I believe is what you guys had last time, if it's a rental, when they don't sign in, they just go with that class. If it's one of our classes, like line dancing, then they sign in, or karate, they sign in. And then bigger things, and it could end up, once a few years ago, and the vast majority of people who do things here have a card, it could end up a father-daughter dance comes, and so many of them already have a card, that the sign-in is that versus a physical piece of paper. But for
Eventually.
now, yeah.
So if I understand this correctly, they'll be, if they come in individually, they'll be using their card.
Correct.
If they're coming in a group, you're saying if we rent a space to them, then they will not use their card.
Correct.
If it's a, outside rental, a group coming in, they have their own insurance, they're
Everything's
managing
just-
everything, yeah.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
have a roster of it, we can get a roster from them.
I don't know if
if
like,
renters.
if somebody
keeping all
rented
their
for like a
stuff.
Yeah,
say like
so-
a birthday party or something, like, I don't know if we have the
Right to ask for a
right to
roster.
ask them for a roster of
No,
everybody who's gonna
no, they're
attend.
names.
So I think just the contract with, you know, whoever's in charge and
Yeah,
responsible is all we get from them.
okay,
Okay?
so, yep, thank you.
Line dancing fee, we heard earlier from, Paula.
I didn't realize that that was something we were gonna do, or it just didn't connect.
And what was, did we have a
Did
fee?
we have a
So-
discussion about that or something?
So, how it came is once we set the new fees, kind of getting the clarification of how it's working, what people are grandfathered, that kind of thing. Chris and I had talked a little bit about it, and so she wanted me to put it on here, whether, we start charging a fee for anyone new who starts,
Yeah, how do
whether we
we
charge
deal
a
with-
fee, and then at the same time, the group pretty much on their own started the donation thing and maxed out, so kind of all in the same. So it really was just, kind of getting clarification or moving forward and kind of just tightening up some of this with our new fee structure and how that works.
I guess I have a couple of questions for the board, everybody. So they are maxed out, it sounds like to me, they're turning people away already. Can we find another line dancer and, that we could pay and also charge? If someone wants to take the course. I mean, this is a free thing that she set up and, I mean, I think that we ought to honor that, that's my opinion, and the volunteer deposit or whatever people are paying into that is fantastic. But line dancing is a cool thing, it's a great thing. What do we do? If, I mean, she's maxed out, do we wanna turn the public away? I don't think so.
I agree, could be a different kind of dance, et cetera. I
Could
think
be
it's-
called something else, I don't know. Cause I'm not,
And what was like, I mean, I guess based on the, fee schedule,
what was the
what
amount that you
was
guys
the
were thinking?
fee that she was so
Oh.
concerned about?
I didn't even think a particular fee was discussed, it was just, do we currently grandfather and then additional people we charge? You know, same way with the next thing coming up is the toddler time, same thing. You know,
Mhm.
so I agree, if the demand is there for another class, then, you know, the whole goal is to have instructors come in, they
Right,
get their fee, and we get a portion of the fee, and that's how it operates.
Yes.
So we're kind of starting out in this,
new.
new way of doing it.
Well, and I got the rental thing, but line dancing currently, she is an official volunteer for the rec district, so it is a rec district program. So it wouldn't be her renting it
Oh, okay.
unless she went out and got the business and the liability and all that kind of thing. So the fee would be if you wanted to charge a participation fee like karate, soccer, or if you wanna leave it the donation.
And if she, I mean, she's volunteering her time, right? We're not
Right, it's
paying her.
volunteer.
Right, it's all volunteer.
And
Yeah.
as
It's
far
just a
as,
matter of maintenance on the floor and if someone else wants the space at the same time she does. That's the one thing that we have to take into consideration. If someone came along and said, I'll pay you $500 for Wednesdays at 10 o'clock or whatever time it is that she works, will we be turning that down? So these are just
That's
questions,
what I was saying.
these are just questions, just wanna,
Yeah,
I personally don't think so, but this is your guys's.
And so what times does she currently do it at?
Mondays, 9:30 to 11. And then Wednesdays is 12:30 to 2.
Well, yes, yes.
So like midday, morning, midday.
Barbara?
I know it's not professional for me to just speak when I'm not on the agenda, but can I share my opinion?
please.
Well, maybe I just wanted to share a bunch of stuff. Fit and fall proof class is in the same situation we're already out of space, and we pay nothing.
How do you deal with that when people wanna show up?
Well, at this point, there's still space.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're,
yeah, we're not,
okay.
yeah, it's tough, but far from impossible, yeah, so far. And with the line dancing, obviously, you're in the same situation. It's free, and it's already too big. Obviously, and I'm just throwing things out there, logic says you start charging, the numbers are gonna come down, you won't have the overcrowding, and you don't need to send anybody away. You start charging, being in one of the most challenging financial communities in the state, you're gonna get complaints. So we need to figure out a way to take care of the people who don't have the money to pay, because they pay taxes here, and this is probably a whole other thing about membership, and, you know, I pay taxes, but does everybody pay tax? No, isn't it a building thing?
It's a household
It's a
fee.
house-
Yeah,
It's a
household
fee.
thing, so tenants, apartment people
No,
don't
it's
pay?
the front doors of
Front
things.
door. So
Okay,
whatever.
so anyway, you know, some people say, hey, I pay my tax, I shouldn't have to pay a membership fee, you know, or like the library, the city of Emmett residents get it for free, but county people, we have to pay. Yes, it's Emmett, yes, it's rural, yes, it's, you know, but you guys need money coming in, we need to improve the building. Yes, it's a recreation event, like you say, she doesn't pay, right? Doesn't have to pay rent or anything. Does Fit and Fall have a contract with the rec district? It's free too, right? I get the grandfathering thing, obviously, but maybe even if it's just a measly $3, you know, or something that just limit, there's gotta be a way to say no to people. And you can't say no, you don't wanna say no at the door, so indirectly, you're saying no because they don't wanna spend the money, even if it's only $1. You know, there's gotta be something, because this is not gonna get better, it's gonna get worse.
Right.
It's a problem, it's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
With the
become a
Fit
bigger
and Fall,
challenge,
and they're
yes.
already
It will
gonna say
become a
no
bigger
to
challenge.
the line dancing. I just think there needs to be a decision, you're gonna piss off people no matter what, you're gonna piss off people if you send them away at the door. You know, so at what point do you wanna piss off people? I just think you guys need to make a decision and adhere to it and start slow. You know, make it really cheap if you're gonna charge us to, you know, or let it be volunteer, I don't know. I just think you guys need to make a decision rather than just go with the flow and see what happens.
It should
Me too.
also be outlined in our system, so
Oh,
what
yes,
the capacity
very much
is.
so.
Okay,
Yes.
we are at 30, and somebody who's about to sign up will say, oh, they're already maxed out,
They're
we
maxed
cannot
out.
sign
Yeah.
up. So-
Well, and here's the problem with that. It's not a class that we all go to every day, every week. I mean, you can have 50
Right.
people, because we figured in the Fit and Fall class, we max out at 50, and then let me tell you, that would be tough. I mean, we're at 40 something, and it's, yeah, so let's just use 50, okay? But there's sometimes only 25 people are gonna show up. You know, I mean, so then now you miss, there's people, you know, same with the line dancing.
So if they're all signed up and they all have to pay a monthly fee, then that's on them.
Exactly, but I'm talking about the free people.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
if it
it's
changes,
free,
if
you
it
say
changes.
we only got 50 people signed up, you know, not paying, just who's signed up. And now you got 2 more people that wanna experience it. There's room, because only 35 people showed up, and you say, no, I know, there's room, but officially, we can't have more people come in, because we can't have, you know, it's just it's a tough situation.
It's an obstacle, It's something we get to get
Yeah.
through.
But personally, I think a minor fee would do the trick.
Is there only one instructor for Fit and Fall?
No, there's 2 main people and about 4 other fill-ins, so 6 official possible trainers.
But out of those, one works and has an orchard, so they're out a certain part of the year.
Yeah,
Another one is out every other week,
yeah.
so.
And why are you asking? What is?
I I'm just I think Fit and Falls run through the health district, right? Is it
Yes.
from the health
Yes,
district?
and the health district comes like once or twice a year and does testing on us old people.
Well, I'm just wondering if the demand's so high, is there an opportunity to offer an additional fit and
No,
falls?
class,
Do
2
you have enough,
classes.
do you have enough instructors to where you could just?
Yeah, do I think that would help? Yes, because the
And you
senior
don't
center
have it's taken
has
place.
an exercise class on Mondays and Wednesdays, which is now no longer.
What did she
I
say?
think it would lower the Tuesdays and Thursday attendance, but,
So if you had somebody come and say, hey, we're at capacity, but we've started a new class on Wednesdays
Yeah.
or whatever,
yeah,
it might ease some of that
Oh, yeah, I agree.
congestion
yeah, I agree too.
at Fit and Fall. Cause I don't know if it's right, but I don't know if you can charge for the Fit and Fall class
know.
through the health district. I'm not sure.
Or could we charge the health district?
I don't
Well,
know.
It's something to
I'm
look
gonna
There's
tell you
into.
guys, you guys,
Exactly.
we need to get more money in here.
Yeah.
So
Exactly,
I pass up
exactly.
an opportunity to make $2 an ed.
Right, exactly.
You
So
know, you
I
think
think
that's almost
it's,
$200 a week out of the Fit and Fall class.
yeah,
That adds up.
it does. So I
I'd be willing.
would ask Abra to check into whether or not we could charge Southwest Health District or Valor Health, because they're both supporting that program, if I understand correctly.
I don't,
And
don't
then
know
there's
if you can
also
charge
the
health
individual that wanted to do it, I think Mrs. Petrie, that maybe we could contact and ask her if there are funds available, instead of charging each individual person.
But that wouldn't help lower the numbers. Part of charging the students is also to help lower the numbers. Not just bring in the revenue, but it helps two things, bring in revenue, and some people would not show up.
Can you, and this sounds silly, but I participated in a class and it was first come, first served.
Yes.
And, it's too bad, you invested, you drove up there, you wanted to go do it, but
Yes.
you were motivated to get there and do it.
Yes,
And if it was full, there was a little sign said, all seats are taken,
yeah,
and I had to walk away and go, whoop, should've
Yeah.
got there earlier.
yeah.
So maybe same thing, you have it, and you put your little sign out, class full, sorry,
Yeah,
and that's just how it is, and you don't have to deal with them,
Yeah.
and just know that we're at capacity, and that's how it is.
yeah. Again, no matter what decision you make, there's gonna be at least one human not happy.
Right.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
just which decision you wanna make. Personally, granted, money isn't an issue for me, but I vote for, it is the conservative in me. I think you guys need to have another revenue source. And again, $1 or $2 per person. Yeah, that's several $1,000s a year. Hello?
And the donations from the,
How much was it this month? Do you
It's
remember?
it's over, a little over $75. Today was $25, I think one day last week was $37, and the other day was like 20-some dollars,
So this month alone, it's
75, yeah,
75.
at least 75.
But that's just donations to helping the building, right?
Yeah.
If it's the goal, well, that isn't, thinning out the group.
No,
no.
no, it's just donation only. And that's the, like you mentioned. Okay.
Another option is take a poll. Ask the teachers in the class, you don't want it, with the concept of, you don't wanna send people away.
Right.
But you only have so much square footage. And don't use the occupancy thing, because that says 125 people.
Right,
Yeah, don't use that occupancy thing, purely space.
yeah.
There isn't enough space for moving
Comfortable
and
space,
dancing
yeah,
and doing
absolutely.
exercise, and so we have to make a tough decision. And which tough decision is less upsetting to you? Send people away at the door, or, charge a couple of bucks and benefit the revenue at the same time.
I mean, we can do something like, there's all sorts of stuff that we could do, but I guess something I guess I'm thinking of is, 3-month, grandfather rule, and to let everybody know that this is what's happening, this is what's coming, this is what we're looking at, this is what's needed.
You know what, before I forget, and also say that you guys are working on getting another teacher to
Right.
add another day.
Exactly.
So it shows that you guys are doing everything possible
Mhm.
to help the community, not harm
Or
it.
subsidize somehow.
Right,
Subsidize it, and then also a sliding scale fee
right.
is
Oh, there
something
you go.
else that you
Yeah.
could bring into play.
Yeah,
Because, I mean,
yeah.
we are a rural area and we are very poor, so something like that is needed. So, I mean, those individuals that can pay $5 at the door, fantastic, and they're willing to, fantastic.
Mhm.
Those that can't, well, let's appreciate that.
Mhm. I think that's a great idea. What?
All I ask is whatever we land on is easy to manage. Because
Well-
we have a lot of other things we do.
The sliding scale thing, if we did that, I would say we need to go with YCAP and have YCAP say they're at this percent, this
I
percent,
was gonna
this
say, how do
percent.
you determine their,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then,
you just figure out, right.
and then YCAP, they will bring the paper back to us like we did for the pool. They would bring the paper back to us and then at that point in time, we have it.
Oh.
And they just have that, it's just a nominal amount, they know how much they're supposed to pay. And it's in the system and that's what they're charged.
Well,
But it doesn't have to be staff to manage it, it can be people in the group.
It could be people in the group and then it can also be the website. I mean, once it's in there, it's in there.
I don't know about a sliding scale though. I think it's mainly just set for one fee, but we can check into it and see.
well, here on Southwest District Health's website, Fit and Fall Proof classes, participation is free and open to all. So,
Mhm.
if Southwest District Health is running the class, I don't believe we would have the ability to charge for the class, and if we did
Well,
start
that's just
charging
it.
for the class, they would just move to another location.
If they could find another location, and that could be the ultimate thing. It's the discussion that needs to take place.
Yeah, I mean, it says right here, freeze in all caps, the only thing in all
Yeah,
caps on
so
their
that
website.
probably would be an option.
So, yeah, I
Then
don't think
have
you
to have
could charge,
signage
it
that
would
says
be, yeah, we have a capacity for it, and we approach,
But we don't know that without talking to them.
yeah, let's see what
I
the
mean, it's
parameters
worth
are
a
for it.
conversation.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's worth a
Okay.
conversation, but I think we could,
We don't know, we don't know. And if they don't know, they, I mean,
okay, so your goal is to thin out the class, that's what
My
you,
goal, what?
your goal is to thin out the class, cause you foresee it going over.
No, I personally, as a private individual, don't have a goal as far as fit and fall goes. I don't think it hurts if you, again, I'm always thinking of bring in money here as well. There may be have a donation thing there. But that's a whole other story. No, I think if it yes, obviously ask them, but it does sound like it's gonna be free no matter what. Just have a sign put out that just says, if there's no chairs out,
Yeah.
we're sorry, but there's no room. There has to be something where people know.
so if we were able to charge a fee to Southwest District Health and then just put that sign up, I'm sorry, we're full for the day.
Yeah, today's class is
Today's
full.
class is
Sorry.
full. I mean, if they chose to continue on with their free program as they have done and need a place and, then we put on there, and if we could get any kind of funding from Southwest District Health, then we just go ahead and put on the door that if it is full for that day, it's full for that day. And if we can add a second day, then that gets posted.
I think it also would be good to, let Pat and, Carol know, to start discussing it in the beginning of each class that, they discuss it, but more of a humor
Yeah,
thing, we're getting so big.
better get here soon, we might
Rather
be
than
full.
concern, right, so I think it would be good if we start communicating in our group that, we're gonna get to a point where there's no room and we're, again, and there's nothing more important than communicating. So at least let them know rather than all of a sudden surprising everybody that they walk up and it's full. full, they can't come.
Exactly.
Well, and the nice part about it being under Southwest District Health, we don't have to determine what's max, what's minimum. That's either the instructors working with Southwest District Health. So if they say, you know, I mean, there's only so many chairs, so that's a limit. But
That's- yeah.
that, it's up to them to tell people, hey, you know,
Well, that's
this
true.
space, we maxed it out at 50 and they put a sign up. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the rec district saying that class is full.
I think that it does, if they're telling it, they're telling us.
Yeah, we're managing the facility, so
We're
we
managing,
have to
we have to do that.
cap it out.
We have to help them. If,
Mhm.
if there's only 50 chairs, then we need to tell them that the class is full. They don't just walk in and keep trying to come in.
It'll just take a
In
couple
any
of
event,
times.
Pat and Carol needs to be aware, because while the class is going on, there are still empty chairs, let's just say 3, and 2 or 3 people, most people do not come late. I mean, most people are there when it all starts. But there usually is 1 to 3 people that show up, and there's, at this point, there are chairs. And so at some point, someone's gonna walk in and there's not gonna be any chairs, and then the teach, because they teach for 30 minutes and then 30 minutes, so the teacher that's not teaching could then go up and put the sign that says full.
Just have to scan the room and be aware.
And let's
Exactly.
just get back on schedule before, I mean, we didn't have
Yeah.
fit and fall proof on our agenda.
It's the
So-
same kind of thing as toddler time, I think, and the line dancing fee. The toddler time fee is also something that we need to discuss.
Yeah, we have that, so we can move to that. Let's move to
Yeah.
toddler time fee, and we can, talk more about fit and fall proof once we get more answers from Southwest District Health. But
Yeah,
to be in an
that's good.
additional class and have the teacher instructors start informing people that we're gonna cut it off at 50, and after 50, make sure and get here early. If we don't have any chairs, we're working to get an additional class going, if possible, if there's interest in it. I think that's the best way to go, cause I honestly don't think, my sister works for the Department of Health and Welfare, and I was having a discussion with her, and I just don't think
Budget,
the
money.
opportunity of charging is
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
So a donation bucket could work, it's, $25 to $37 is better than,
So, yeah, I agree, but that would not, just Southwest District Health, I agree. It's
and you
worth a
could look at
conversation.
Peak Physical Therapy or one of these companies around.
That's where I was just gonna go.
To sponsor something like that. But
Exactly.
let's go to toddler 10 feet. What's
So
the,
speaking of, yeah, I understand you wanna put them in the big area, is that right?
Yeah. It's probably
How many participants?
about 30.
And it's on what day?
It's on Wednesdays, 10 to 11:30.
And this program's subsidized too, correct?
Yes.
2:11:30.
And they're finding, I believe I put it on your note that they were, they just got notice that they have to spend all of the money they received from that long acronym group by March 31st, and they don't have word on
Future funding,
future funding.
right?
So the question would become, could it turn into the rec districts, this is the toddler time, drop-in time, for lack of better, or is it, if they don't have, cause the bottom line with them too, the money that they got went to buying toys and then paying the facilitator.
So what kind of
So-
toys do they have that they're gonna bring?
Have them down in that room.
Which room?
Down in our storage room.
The toddler
Yeah,
time?
the toys that they have.
Are they
for
big
play.
climb on
No,
things?
no,
Are
no,
they
no,
small
no.
things?
They're small
Are
and fit in a couple little totes, so it's
Okay.
not, yeah.
When we were over at the other building, it was probably 4 foot by 6 foot
Okay,
that their area was, and they were growing.
Okay.
They were bringing.
So just out of curiosity, the room that's down here on the far right with the, possible new dance area, we're gonna
The
put,
new flooring.
yeah, what about putting them in there?
Not big enough.
Because of,
They have, so they set up like different areas, like they'll lay out a whole blanket and put stuff on top of that blanket for one little area, and then they have another area. And if they have 30 kids, or 15 kids and 15 adults, that room is small.
okay,
There's not enough room for them to lay out everything and to have individual.
So they have little stations where they go around.
and what is the setup for this? Is this to bring parents and kids together? That they can't do at home? Is it educational? What's the spirit?
Part educational, part the socialization, and it helps, you know, I would assume most of them are stay-at-home parents, so it helps stay-at-home parents not be isolated and get a group. It helps the kids working on probably fine motor skills, socialization. The goal ultimately with all of these programs as kids get younger is the hope that by the time they get to kindergarten, the socializing, the basic function in a group, they have that and they can learn.
Okay. So I guess, I mean, my opinion on that is that we grandfather it in until March 31st and then look at charging, $1 or $2 per family. I mean, because it's something that's gonna grow. It's from Wednesday to, I mean, it's every Wednesday. It's an hour and a half.
Is it a session that they get? It's like a quarterly thing, or is it just ongoing?
There, it's
Or
just,
what?
well,
As long as
I
they
think
have
they thought
funding,
it was
they do it?
ongoing,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
There's the potential if, which could help us too, if the money runs out and they don't renew to pay the facilitator, kind of the same thing with Southwest District Health, if they got a volunteer parent to continue it, to be the facilitator of it, then it would be able to continue because they've already purchased the toys and that kind of thing. So conceivably, they could keep going and to us, nothing changed because either they're volunteering for this program or they're being paid from it, from the outside.
Okay.
If it became, if after March 31st, so like we really can't do it, then maybe that is the donation thing or suggested dollar. Everyone, you know.
And is the, you know, they got a coordinator for the program, is a volunteer gonna be qualified to run the program, or their qualifications for the coordinator that runs the program?
I know the current one they have has worked at Head Start in different places, so she's definitely got an outside qualification. The volunteer, they do have a parent volunteer that kind of helps with coordinating and texting people, reminding them. So they kind of have that volunteer, so I think that's the one that they would look at potentially.
And so they don't pre-register for this, this is where it's open to the public.
Correct.
This is going on, anybody can walk in during this time, they don't have to be involved in it previously.
Correct.
And so everything else is shut down to anybody else, correct? For that hour and a half? I mean, because if you
I-
have babies out there.
Yeah, I would conceivably say that that would be our, it would still be open to all of that demographic, like they couldn't shut the door and be like, well, I guess they could max out too, we could get to there.
Yeah.
But it'd basically be the same concept if we wanted to say every Wednesday from 3:30 to 5, that room is dedicated to middle schoolers.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm
Or-
getting at.
Yeah.
Schedule the time
because-
and the
Or
age, so
seniors,
they're not
or-
mixing.
Exactly. My concern is that we have teenagers and they're wanting to play pool at the same time that we have.
And I think we're lucky that a lot of these things, line dancing, toddler time, and fit and fall, aren't in that afternoon, evening.
Yeah.
Right. During the summer is the only time that you're gonna have to worry about something like this that I'm
Right.
referring to.
Yeah.
So it needs to be specific. So right now I say that we at least I mean, that's my opinion, to shut it down to everyone else except for toddler time and go ahead and, keep doing it until March 31st and go from there.
Yeah, do you know if they'll know when they expect to know if they'll get more funding or?
I think it was a bit of a surprise to know that part, so I'll touch base with Shannon Anderson to see if anything's changed for.
The other piece of that is that if they do get a grant, then something you should talk to Shannon about is to say that we would need a fee from
If
her,
we're-
yeah,
Mhm.
if they wanna continue to do it. At no charge to the public.
We good with toddler time?
Yeah,
Okay, next up.
I made a motion and Chris seconded it
Second, yeah.
For the,
for the time.
Scheduled
the
toddler
schedule
time
of toddler time and to
through
go
March
ahead and
31st.
from
keep
10 to
them,
11:30?
yeah, grandfather them in at no charge and close everything else off, except for toddler time for the kids in that main area until
Okay.
March 31st.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
Did you guys wanna do anything, keep line dancing donation right now? That's kind of on there too.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's something, I would like some more time to mull that over. I would like to table that one and keep it at a donation myself. I think that we seriously need to consider doing something with it though, because it's only gonna grow. We're only going to grow, which is great, but we need parameters.
okay, so line dancing can continue as is until the board makes a formal decision on it. Cleaning proposal?
That I don't think we were
Yeah.
formally ready for.
Okay, so table cleaning proposal till our March
We're
meeting.
working on how much between part-time staff and how much professional cleaners we need.
Frequency
Yeah,
based on low usage now versus high usage later versus, so.
next up on the agenda, approved bid for contractor, windows in the breezeway, and clean up after baseboard heaters are removed. So we had 2 quotes for windows.
Yeah, I asked Atkinson to come in and they gave us a bid. If you turn that over, you'll see A, B, C, D, E at the door there. And then you turn it back over and you see A, B, C, D, E. And if I understand correctly, it's side marked C, the larger windows that need to be replaced that you guys were all thinking of.
Correct.
He quoted them all for me. So if we did 3 of those,
3 of the C size.
then it would be $2,136. If we did all 4 of them, it would be the $2,848.
That's installed.
Yes. That's,
Did we have 4 or did we only have 3 that need to be? Thought we only had
I
3.
think it was 3 and one of them was okay.
he said that many of them, all grass units are quoted, a number of them are failed. The quantities can be adjusted as needed. So, it's $1,000 less. Actually, it's $1,700 less than the other quote. For 3 windows. So, I would say that we would go with this one.
Atkinson, I agree. For the entry in the breezeway,
Yes,
correct? We're on the same page?
Yes, for,
The 2 on one end and.
well, we should look at that.
Still look at it.
Because
But like, I'm
look
pretty
and
sure
see
that there's
exactly
3 right in that.
if all 4 of them need to be replaced.
We're going to look at the windows, everybody.
One was shot from the baby, one was. Little field trip.
That was fun. We can't just look down or, look out and be like, oh, there's the windows.
Yeah.
So I make motion to replace 3 of the windows that are indicated as C on the Atkinson mirror and glass bid
For the 2136,
for the 2136, yes.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
You want to speak with Robin?
Robin.
Robin. Mm-hmm.
And then clean up after baseboard heaters are removed. I don't,
Yeah,
my
that's,
personal opinion, I don't know if we need a motion on that now.
well, that's part of the,
I agree, because
Me too.
my husband did half of he painted all behind the exit signs, and he didn't plug with plaster on some of that, but
Oh,
I know
since
some
we-
of that was done.
Since we got the quote,
yeah.
okay.
And I think, we might as well wait until they're out before we,
right.
We don't need to sign on it.
Yeah.
if it's something we
But
can
we have an
fix pretty
idea.
easily. So
Yeah.
we'll table that baseboard one until March or later. Number 14, pickleball court funding request, action item.
Okay, so, it's probably been a year since I started, trying to get funding for pickleball courts. If you don't remember, this is for pickleball courts in Emmett City Park. Originally, the plan was to have 4 pickleball courts located, west of the tennis courts. We had a major donor who, Hughes Foundation, who initially was going to match up to $110,000, and then recently he donated the $90,000 to bring it up to the $200,000, and he is a proponent of expanding it to 6 courts. So it's gone from 4 courts to 6 courts, which is wonderful. So you can look to the right, it shows the funding that we need. I have an outstanding grant, that's most of that, 50 of the 76,000. So it shows about 25,000 what we're looking for. So I'm asking the board if they would sponsor one of the courts for $5,000. Half of them have been sponsored, but I think it's very important for this organization to show support and have our name out there so the community knows we're involved. We can have clinics and tournaments and et cetera. It still goes through the city for reserving. City courts can need to reserve things. They still maintain them. But I think the pickleball community will be a big part of that, blowing the courts, making sure the nets are correct, et cetera. That community is really good about taking care of facilities. So it kind of outlines where we are. Most of the funding is there. It's just, hopefully we get this last grant, and the city is hoping to start this spring.
This is
I may.
fantastic, thank you.
Yeah.
So, I'm drawing a blank on the funds that were given to us during COVID time. What's the name of that? I wanna call it ARP,
ARPA?
ARPA. Guess my brain was doing all right, it just didn't sound right. I make motion to,
Well, oh, sorry. Keep in mind, the ARPA funds are included on this sheet to what we need for, to keep that buffer in. Capital improvements at the end.
I still make a motion that we use $5,000 from the ARPA funds, because the ARPA funds were designed and have been designed and given through the thought process that would bring in new business and bring in more recreational activity, and that it, in my thought process, not to be used for improvements. So I make a motion that we do give $5,000 to the pickleball court fund.
We have a motion?
She
I
can't
can't,
vote.
She
I
can't vote.
recuse myself.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I mean, we've got so much stuff to do with this building, and so many unknowns, that I just have a hard time. I mean, when are you guys thinking about breaking ground?
April.
April? And when do the sponsorships need to be in by?
Well, the bulk of it is now, but I would put recognition of the sponsors, you know, as soon as the courts are finished, so.
I just think that it's really important that the community knows that we're involved, and that we support it. I think that it would do us really well to have something out there like that, especially because we haven't been able to do anything with a pool. It's a gesture with the city as well as county.
And are these like first come, first serve, open courts? Do you have to reserve them
They're
through the
open
city?
courts, but they're open unless you're going to have some kind of event going on and you wanna take up most of the course, then you would take a reservation through the city, just like they do with their pavilions and.
And is there a cost to reserve the courts? Like if we had, you know, if we started offering pickleball tournaments or something through the rec district?
And that's what we would set up and definitely produce revenue. Or if we have an instructor that's out there that goes through the rec district, then we would reserve the courts. They would charge for the clinic. Instructor gets part of the fee, the rec district gets part of the fee.
So there is an opportunity to, hold on one sec. There is opportunity for the rec district to increase programming. and-
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay. And she had
Did you
a
see, a certain kind of fund? that the
ARPA.
money's coming from?
ARPA,
ARPA?
American
Yeah.
Rescue Plan Act. It was money that was given out during the pandemic to,
Okay, so just because, you know, I see it on Facebook, the comments. So ARPA funds are not supposed to be used for maintenance?
Actually, there is no restrictions on them.
yeah.
There's no restrictions on it, but me as an individual and just going through what I experienced with COVID and what the ARPA funds that we used over at the county, at another different county office that I work with, we really try to use it for getting people back out into the world and into recreation.
So when you have a voter that says, I pay my taxes to the, no, don't think it's coming from me, I'm just.
No, yeah, it's all good.
I don't want my taxes that I pay to the rec district to go to pickleball, cause I think pickleball's stupid.
Well, that's-
But you
So we
probably
can say
also
that
don't want your
funds-
money
The funds that are being used for the pickleball are not the
From
taxes
the
that you pay
taxes.
on your tax bill, these are.
That was one of
fun-
the thoughts that I had, yeah.
These are funds that came
it's-
from whatever the heck during the COVID days.
Right.
Okay, the other concern was. I don't think it was a concern, I think it was taking advantage of it as a rec district and promoting, fundraising tournaments and stuff. So it's also a revenue generating, opportunity as well as using funds that came to the rec district through the COVID fiasco
Yeah,
stuff, okay,
which are both pluses.
yeah.
And how many courts are left sponsored? 3?
Correct.
Do we get to pick what court we sponsor?
Yes.
How big are the sponsorship signs?
As big as you want it to be. No, it's probably gonna be a flag like this.
So you can have GCRD painted on the court?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we want.
That's ours.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm researching, to see what are the most successful signage, because the sun wears it out, they put it where you can't see them. I want it on the court, and I want to refer to, go to the GCRD court, not somewhere, you know,
Go
off.
to, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Which would be fantastic.
And you know, are there enough people around here that could teach a class? Perhaps somebody who's
I
going
think
to
we might be
the
looking at
Olympics?
someone.
Yes, I know.
Perhaps somebody that's
I
going
already
for
have somebody
US Open pickleball?
who has approached, who wants to teach already.
Somebody in this room that?
Maybe.
No, not me.
Darn.
I will
That's where I was
assist.
going.
I will assist. But I have someone who loves to tell people what to do. I'm like, you are perfect for that.
Aubrey, do you have any thoughts on it? I know it's a board decision, but do you think it's something the rec
well-
district could take on in terms of?
I feel like there's a little bit of irony that we're talking about not being able to provide free class for line dancing, toddler, and fit and fall, because that needs to be paid for, but then it's equally important that we spend money for people to do something somewhere else. So I will go with whatever you guys.
So,
Fair
just,
assessment.
in a sense, it's a little bit of a fair assessment, except for we're not saying that,
I think it
We
was a
don't want-
long-term investment.
it's a long-term investment, but I was
Exposure.
also like, I wanna be clear that this is moving forward, all the discussion that I had to say about line dancing and toddler time, I'm talking about moving forward with that and being a successful GCRD. I'm not saying that I don't wanna pay for that.
Well,
'Cause
no,
that's
I'm
not
just
a
saying
statement
because
that I made.
but in a sense, I mean, you immediately jump on 5,000 for another.
We've been looking
project.
at this 5,000 for over a year now. We're
Well,
not
I
just
mean,
now
you said
jumping
that
on
in
it.
there. Okay, Joe asked me what my opinion was.
So
and
I'm
I
just-
stated it, and you guys get to vote.
Yeah, she made a valid point, but I mean, I'm in like, I didn't say much, but the, like, fit and fall, toddler time, these classes that are a benefit for the community, especially if one of them on their own without any, you know, encouragement from us, started a donation fund to help out, is pretty cool. But especially like toddler time and fit and fall, like those are benefits for the community. So there's something we've always offered. I don't see any reason why we should stop offering them. You have to remember, a lot of people don't pay taxes here, they do pay. We have a lot of people that pay a household fee that maybe never set foot inside this building.
There's several,
Yeah, so
several
there's-
hundred.
Yeah, so there's a good portion of them that pay into this that allows us to operate, and I think as part of being a quasi-governmental organization, that's kind of part of our job is to offer some things for free that benefit the community. So I'm in favor of both the free, you know, and line dancing is something we can talk about more, but like fit and fall, toddler time, things like that, like, I have no problem with the use of the facility for some of the benefits of the community. And I think if, you know, if there's potential to generate revenue from, hosting pickleball tournaments or teaching pickleball, I mean, is there like pickleball lessons that people teach?
Absolutely.
So-
And the demographic of Emmett fits it ideally. The biggest age group is 55 to 65 that play pickleball. And,
Do we have enough doctors to handle the
yeah, right next door.
ACL tears? And
Yes, we do.
Well, they have to
Making
learn
money
fit
for-
and fall to stretch,
That's
and
right.
then
That would be the
Yeah,
ideal
so
program. Go here and then go on over to the pickleball courts.
Exactly.
I need to butt in again. In response to what Abra said, the potential of accumulating more revenue from whatever source, toddler, fit fall, this is just an explanation, whatever. Gathering those revenues are all also to help pickleball ball type growth and other activities, you know. That's one of the reasons of charging for certain things, is to provide more things. So, saying, you know, in all due respect, Abra, in spending 5,000, and charging, you know, I don't see it as a conflict versus, that's just one of the reasons of gathering revenue, is to, you know, it'd be different if you said, you know, I move that we donate $5,000 to, fireworks, you know? That's an expense that, yeah, it's fun, but it's not a recreational.
Ongoing recreational,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not making sense,
No, you are. You're making sense.
I'm just saying, that's what.
In order
gathering more
to
revenues
continue programming and future funding, we need to continue
To bring in more.
to bring in,
revenue.
yeah.
And you have to cut back on people. I mean, you can't forget that. And that's what's gonna cut back on people, is if you start charging for certain things.
Okay, so we have a motion to use ARPA funds to donate 5,000 to sponsor court. I will second that, partially because I think currently as a rec district, we offer, multiple activities for youth. And one of our goals was to offer more adult and senior activities outside of fit and fall proof class. And with the demographics of pickleball, this would give us an opportunity. And since you were a huge player in making this project happen, as long as the city doesn't kick it, not kick us out, but I don't wanna start offering pickleball lessons at this new facility and then all of a sudden the city wants to take some of the revenues from our pickleball lessons, and the city has no plans to do that.
No, they want the facility to be there. Their goal is to expand in the park and offer different amenities, but they're not, they don't wanna be managing pickleball courts and providing programs. They don't have a rec department, they have the parks department that has to maintain things, so.
And the Parks Department's gonna provide maintenance for the pickleball courts? Okay, so motion and a second to use ARPA funds, so they're not coming out of the household fee.
Yes.
And I want the biggest plaque out of any of the plaques.
Okay.
Premier court location, shadiest court. Okay, closest to the biggest tree.
Thank
I know you can't promise that, but that would be my hope. Okay, so we had a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
Yay.
Thank you.
And what, do we have something for executive session?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
Will we be doing follow-up for the deliverables? Is
Yeah.
that what we were doing in our executive session?
Yeah, and some other things. Yes. That's correct.
Okay, so next up on the agenda is to go into executive session under Idaho Code 74-206 1B. We need a motion and a second and then a roll call, right?
Yes, I move that we move into executive session, Idaho Code 74-206-1B.
A second.
Second, motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roll call?
Joe,
Yes.
Mia,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.